Welcome in, everybody. What's going on? Someone say something.
Oh,
We got Mason in the house.
Hello.
I don't know if you're talking to us or not. Okay.
I was like, the commenters? I'm just kidding.
Well, what's
Hello,
going on,
everyone.
everybody? Everybody that is in the comments, I'll talk specifically to for a second. So as you can see, we have Mason here. I'm excited about this one. We also have Mr. Rod and Mr. Kenny. You don't have to call him Mr. though. I just do that. Anyway, excited to chat with Mason a little bit. Mason, if you don't mind, just could you, I guess, give a little bit of a history of your business, kind of where things are at now, anything you want to share about the business, and then we'll dive in with some questions.
Absolutely. So I'm 22 now. I got a camera the summer that I graduated high school. So I turned 18 and got a camera. I didn't honestly know what I was going to do. I knew I was going to go to college, but I didn't know what I was going to do there. But I always did video editing on the side and everything, like through high school. And I did weddings, and I saw your videos after doing weddings for a little bit, and I knew I could always do this for like a year, and I put it off. I'm like, I knew if nothing works out, I can try real estate photography. And then I went for coaching last summer, and 6 months of that, and now we're here.
Yeah. And so you built, and you still do wedding photography, right? Or like how does that fit into your whole kind of equation?
Yeah, so the title and everything with doing about 10K a month, that's not counting the weddings and stuff, but
yeah.
But so I still do a few weddings a year, not as many as full-time wedding photographers that are doing 20 to 30 a year probably, but I still do 8 to 10 probably a year, and then other sports sessions and stuff like that because people in my area like my sports photography and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. And what I guess what made you want to do real estate versus just like going full in on the wedding side? Just more stability, or like what was the kind of driver there?
Getting the call back. Because in weddings you got to go find your next client. I mean, you've made 100 videos on it probably, but it's super high ticket, and I love weddings, and I'm going to continue to do weddings, but for during the week, and it's not weekends, for mostly for real estate, right? So I love being able to work during the week when everyone else is working, and going and playing basketball later or something, or golf in the afternoon. So
That's interesting. Yeah, the high ticket thing is like nice. That's not that there's nothing. I think there's plenty of good stuff about weddings. I just like real estate more because of that. So do you see it as something you'll keep doing for a while? Like, what's your kind of goal? Where are you trying to take the business in general?
Yeah, so I want to do. I actually haven't. I've only spoken to him on DMs, and I talked to you in Colorado about this, Eli. But I want to have the business kind of like Emmaus, and I think it's the East Coast somewhere, where you have it set up. Shout out Emmaus if he's watching. But the real estate side of things and the wedding side of things, and he's basically a huge manager for both businesses now, and he has editors for both, I think. So being able to cover all parts of your week and having two great businesses, that's what I want to do for the future. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I guess you built 10K business is great. You built it quickly. Like, what do you think you did that made that happen? Like, do you lean more into like the personality side of it to get referrals? Do you grind on the client acquisition side? Like, what's been your sort of strategy to getting there?
Kenny definitely remembers this, but I did a lot of cold calling. Like, I did a lot of cold calling. There was days I would wake up and I had nothing going on, and I just called as many people as I could. There was one with Eli. He had a call. I don't even remember when it was. Tuesday that you have your call, and I was like, I got to shoot in Murfreesboro, and I've got like 4 free shoots that I'm going to do drone photos for. And you're like, all right, go. And so like that was, and I still do cold call a little bit. I haven't cold called in probably 2 months though. So
why? Just because the business is picking up and it's referrals are doing the thing?
Picking up and referrals, and I mean, I'm editing some weddings during the night and stuff. So I'm still kind of running 2 businesses, but but yeah, the cold calling was my jam. I loved it. I posted one in the chat or in the group, the circle group, and like it blew up. Like everyone loved it. So
what did you? So like a lot. I'm smiling because like so many people are just scared of cold calls, and you're over here like, I love it. Like, what do you love the rush of it? Do you love how?
I wouldn't say that I love it.
I was like, oh, wait, do you?
You love
I love it.
Yeah. How do you?
Did you have to overcome that fear, or like what made you like want to keep going? Because I remember you on my coaching calls, you're like, I'm doing a ton. I'm gonna keep doing them, and you seemed excited. So like maybe to the outside world, you probably seem like somebody who enjoys cold calling, but it turns out that you don't.
I enjoy. Well, I think Eli said this at one point. You're a psycho if you enjoy it. I mean, you're like a weirdo. But I definitely enjoy Emmaus. I'm a lot like Emmaus from the videos I watch. He was like, I love making it a game of seeing how I can get them to say yes. So I'm so glad we're talking about this because I feel like this is the best insight that I can give. But when you start a business, the business does not come to you. Not a single realtor has reached out to me and said, "I saw your page on Facebook." You know what I mean? Like nobody in there in the history of the like huge businesses now with paid ads are seeing that now. But you have to, in all seriousness, you have to go out there and get it, and you have to put in the work, and you have to literally beg for people's business, and that's what I did early on. And I share this on my Facebook. I'm sure if any of those realtors are watching, they know exactly what I'm talking about. I was wanting to just come shoot for them, so. And show them what I got. So you have to bet for business, and you have to work hard. So.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people think you said like the word beg, which is kind of like a please pick me kind of word, and I think a lot of people kind of shy away from that. We've even had people say they don't want to come across too eager, and I'm like, no, you want to be so eager.
So eager.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not like a beg; it's more eager for sure. It's definitely
but a beg is a good word too. It's like you're not trying to play it cool. Like they'll come find me. Like you said, no one comes to find you. Like when you're starting they do eventually, which is amazing. But like when you're first starting it, it's all about reaching out. What was like the 15 minutes before you picked up the phone to call? Like, is it a lot of anxiety? Is it like, I just got to start doing this? Or like, what do you feel like, especially in the start?
The first one's yes, because it's like there's nothing else to do. I have to do this. So I'm just psyching myself up. And then probably 15 calls in. 20 calls in or whatever, I just dial it and press it, and I don't even think about it. That's the best thing to think about is nothing.
Yeah.
just hit it, and then you're there, right? Like I remember
ride, you can't do. Yeah, there's nothing you could do about it at that point anyway. So
right, exactly. I remember in the one that I shared, I basically called and I acted so confused and young and eager, and I wanted to just show them what I got and a little confused, like you said, so that their sales guard is a little back. And yeah, you get a lot of yeses if you do it right.
A lot of yeses. And I think we were talking about this. I was on a meeting earlier with the team. It's like if someone actually sat down and put 8 hours into cold calling, like you have so many clients as a result of that. It's just people won't do it for that length of time or that consistency. And so for the audience listening, like you got to do whatever it takes to get that first dial and just get going. Because if you really want clients, there's, Instagram method's great. It's it's like farming where cold calling is hunting, and you get a lot faster results immediately from the cold calling side. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do the Instagram method too. We've obviously seen a ton of people like, that's our core method. People do both, but like they serve different purposes. And so, yeah, I mean, can you talk about like, what was the worst thing that, I think people get worried about what's going to happen. Like, what's the worst thing that ever happened to you on a cold call? Like, did someone
yell? Mistakes. That was what I was wondering. Like, what are like the worst things and like the mistakes that you made? Like, just like, so that way people know like how quote unquote bad it can technically get.
Maybe it's Southern hospitality, man, but nobody has like, because I'm in Nashville. If nobody knew, I don't know if I said that at the beginning, but yeah, I'm in Nashville. Nobody has really gotten mad at me. I've had people hang up on me for sure, like before I even finish my sentence, but nobody has really gotten mad at me ever. And like I said, that may just be Nashville, but
dude, I think that's
Nashville is nice.
Nashville is nice, but like I think everybody assumes someone's just gonna tear you up on the phone, but it's like they're real estate agents, they're in business, they're salespeople, they understand like maybe they don't want to deal with you. Like my max rude would just be hanging up, right? Like most people are like that. They're not gonna be like, like what's wrong with you if you yell at someone cold calling?
And if so, who cares? Like they know your name and that is it. If you don't even say your company's name, they don't even know who you are.
They forgot your name. If they're yelling, they don't know your name.
Right. And don't even say your company's name. That would be such a weird way to cold call, is saying your company's name, in my opinion. And maybe if you're a bigger business, you could say that, and you could say, "Hey, we're growing our client base." I don't know, but that's.
But you leaned into more of like just you. Like, what was your kind of general approach to the calls?
I would a lot of, I guess you could say buzzwords, but I would say that I'm trying to earn their business. I'm trying to grow my business, and I'm trying to earn it. Right? I'm trying to earn your business. I'm going to show you the best that I got. Maybe even throw in a video. A lot of people are excited about video, so throwing in free video would be very good. I remember Kevin said that he did that a lot early on. Was video. Being eager, being confused.
Being confused. Talk about being.
Talk about the confused. Yeah, that's what
we talk about this internally, but like I don't know if everybody understands what you're talking about.
So if Eli's an agent and he's got a listing, and I call him and I say, "Hey, I saw your listing at 123 Main Street, and I just got a question for you. It's a beautiful property. Are you the agent for that?" They're like, "Yeah." So if you ask questions as well, they're already in, right? Like it's not like you've. That's the other thing too, is I get them to answer a question and answer a couple things about it, because then it's like, okay, well, I'm here, right? So might as well answer this kid's question. I've already answered two other questions before, and then I finally go into it. Hey, so I'm trying to grow my real estate photography business. My name's Mason, and just little things like that, like throwing in little things. And then
it's not like what everybody does wrong, and this is what you're saying, do the opposite of, which is like such a good approach. They'll be like, all right, they get this script, they're like, "Hey, my name's Eli Jones. I'm with Normandy Young Real Estate Media." And I was literally, they can tell from the second word that you're trying to sell them something. And so the confused, there's a guy who teaches sales called Jeremy Miner, and he has a frame he calls like the confused old man, where it's just so funny how like humans know if you're selling to them. And it's interesting because everybody's worried about making these calls that they're going to mess it up. And I'm like, I promise you it's going to work better if you mess it up. Like 50 calls in, when you just have it down, that's when the conversion starts to go down. You're like, what's going on? I'm getting better. And it's like, you're getting better, but you're getting worse outcomes because better is not the goal here. So this is kind of like a different angle than what we've been talking about. But like another big fear, since, we talked about cold calls already, well, people be like, man, there's a ton of real estate photographers in my market, or even people in coaching, they'll get in, they'll be like, well, there's two others in my market. Like, you're in Nashville, plenty of Kevin's in Nashville, a bunch of people crushing it, are all crushing it together. Like, how's that been for you, or what's kind of your approach to competition?
I wanted to talk about that. I'm so glad you said that, because I feel like I have a pretty good approach to that, because so many people that are watching and are in coaching, there's Kevin right there.
I think he's creeping.
So that is like the worst mindset ever to have. I think there's like 20,000 agents in Nashville. And I remember when I went with Kevin and I rode around with him, like literally in person. I've never met him. And we met at a Home Depot and I rode around with him. And we saw all these agents. I've never seen any of those agents that he worked with. I remember in Vegas, he had a family tree that he called it. And he had all of these agents on there. And a lot of people think in Nashville, maybe they think it's small. Nashville's pretty big in my opinion. I'd never heard of any of them. I had never seen a single one. I maybe heard of one because they're big on Instagram, but I hadn't seen their signs when I'm driving. You know what I mean? So there's so many agents everywhere, and it is definitely possible if you do the math. The coolest thing that Eli has always done on here is do the math. Like for $10K a month, if you need an average order value of this, do the math. You only need this many agents to reach this amount of revenue, and there's thousands of agents. So yeah, the math is definitely works out in your favor. There's still so much business for everyone. So.
It is funny how easy it is to think like that there isn't enough, because you hear about someone that's, like Kevin or other. There's other businesses in Nashville that I think are bigger than Kevin's too, and it's like
yes,
it's if you, like you said, if you do the math, there are too many real estate agents in every market. Is actually the reality of it.
That's a different conversation.
Breed like rabbits.
Yeah, they're multiplying. And it's funny when there's like a really fast real estate market, which we're in kind of like a middle market, I'd say right now. But when it's like a crazy real estate market, man, it goes to like 3 times as many agents, which is pretty funny.
Right.
So again, kind of another like topic switch, but just curious on this. Is there like, what are the similarities you've learned now that you own 2 different businesses in photography? Like, what do you say the similarities in terms of things you've learned as a business owner that apply to both weddings and real estate? Is there any like crossover? Has learning in real estate helped you get better at weddings or anything like that?
I don't even, let's see. Let me think about this. Weddings, how are they similar? They're not similar at all. Like I'm really trying to find similarity. They're not similar at all. Anyone can do real estate photography. Seriously, like literally anyone. Yeah. Weddings is settings all day. You got to change settings all day, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get eaten alive. Seriously, they're not going to be good photos, and you got to know what you're doing. They're really not. As far as the business side goes,
like client acquisition kind of stuff, like any like transferable skills from that you've learned from this that have like kind of transferred into wedding photography that helped you get more clients, customer service stuff? Or is it pretty?
Oh, definitely
common
putting
stuff?
myself out there more, because before Rep and I joined Rep, that's a good question for client acquisition. I was thinking the business side. The client acquisition for sure. I've become more like I do wedding photography, saying it more and being more, putting myself out there with weddings as well. Because when I joined Rep, there was a financial commitment, and I was like, all right, I got to do this, right?
Yeah.
And I got to make this happen. So I started cold calling, and all that fear kind of went away. So it definitely helped with weddings because I'm more apt to tell people about weddings.
Yeah.
Were you doing real estate media when you jumped into coaching, or was it like, were you
I
already
had
doing it a little bit?
I set up Spiro and I set up Stripe, and I connected the two, and then I joined coaching.
The most important, you're like, how do I get paid?
Right. Yeah.
Literally. All right.
I was ready for like
Okay.
$20,000 that month.
So talking about your, I guess, future specifically, like, well, actually, want to go back. What's been like the biggest? I mean, 10K month, was that cool? Like, what's been the thing that made you most excited about being in this business so far? Like, what's a cool milestone for you?
Definitely 10K, because when you get into 5 figures, it feels like a real business. You know, I mean, not like it doesn't before, but like,
Yeah.
5 figures a month is like, you got a real thing going on. You can tell when I tell people too around here, you know, in local area, it's like people really take you seriously when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that milestone, and doing my first brokerage presentation recently. That was like a small little brokerage. I'm not great at those. I've only done one, and it's a small.
They're scary. It doesn't matter how many people. Yeah.
That was a big milestone. I'm not great at public speaking. Like, I'm definitely doing a lot better on this than I would in like a group of in person.
Yeah,
like 50 people.
same.
So that was
like
big.
people in front of me. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. There was a month like last October with weddings and real estate that I made like 15, 16 grand or something like that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
14, 15, something like that. So yeah,
What-
those are some pretty big
Like
milestones.
I know you briefly talked about it where you want to grow both sides of the business, basically manage them. Like, what's kind of the next, when you think about your real estate media business, what's the next milestone you think about revenue wise that's exciting?
So when I when I did the introductory call with Rep, and they gave me a bunch of referrals for who has joined Rep and become successful, they gave me Kevin's number, of course, and I told you I met him at a Home Depot.
Mm-hmm.
He told me that he was doing 30 grand a month by himself.
Yeah.
So probably to get where Kevin was when he was solo. Shout out, Kevin.
It's so funny that that's possible, because like I was filming a YouTube video earlier, just generally talking about like the industry, and if you talk to people, they always, at least for the most part, have this idea that the photography industry is kind of declining because like cell phones, and people aren't generally like, oh, it's a great idea to become a photographer. And then it's so funny that we have this little like subsect of the niche where it's like, yeah, 30 grand a month solo. It's like
there's no other. It's crazy. It's so crazy. It's just crazy. I mean, you think about weddings. Charging 5 grand for a wedding, that'd be 6 weddings in a month, right?
Yeah.
And that's an expensive photographer too. So you got to find 6 clients.
And that's a lot of weddings. That's like 2 in a
lot of weddings.
Yeah.
And man, like that's pretty unheard of. I mean, you got to be very busy to do that every month too. You're doing it consistently with real estate photography. And I think that's a good milestone for me as well, because I was just thinking about it to add to that, because Kevin is in Nashville as well. So I know that AOV I can do that. I can do that. Yeah. Kevin did it. You know what I mean? So that's why I choose that number.
Yeah. What are some of the, like, if you could go back and not make a mistake or 2 mistakes, like what are some of the things you would tell yourself differently next time?
Going along with that question, were there any beliefs that you had to pretty much let go of in order for you to start making 10K? I mean, it could be as easy or as little as outsourcing your editing or whatever. But like, yeah, I mean, some mistakes that you were making that maybe didn't let you get to 10K a month earlier.
Focusing on my other business. I was doing a lot last fall and everything during Rep. I still soaked up a lot of the information. I got a lot out of Rep or launch. But definitely focusing on other things. If you go all in, like you said, with cold calling all those agents for 8 hours, right? I've told people that have messaged me on Instagram about this, like 22 business days in a month for 2 months. If you cold call 2 people a day, you're talking so many agents, right? That you just call just 2 a day, get 2 shoots a
Tiny
day.
amount of work. Yeah.
Any amount of work, man, go out there, shoot a vacant house and go home. I mean, you will have a full-time business in 2 months for sure. No doubt. I mean, there's literally no doubt in my mind unless you screw something up. So
yeah, it's just, I think people just battle with themselves about freaking actually picking up the phone, or, you know, even for people like people have built, and it's not just about the phone. Like, we're going towards that right now because that's what Mason did. Like, I'm a big fan of that. It's fast. People have done that the same with many different types of outreach, right? Whether it's the Instagram method or like literally stopping by open houses. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I think it's too much driving and not enough actually client acquisition. But yeah, so it's like, it's really just more about saying like, hey, I'm going to do this, and then actually working hard at it. A lot of people will like think about working hard and talk about working hard, but it's like, just do it. And the thing you said is so good. When you hear people talk about building a business, they often talk about how long they had to work hard. And like 2 months is not a long time. That goes by like this. And some businesses take years to get off the ground. I'm not the biggest fan of being in those businesses, but like this one's not one where you have to do years of that. It's like get a little bit. And the best part is, I'm sure you can speak to this a little bit, Mason, but once you get shoots coming in, you don't need motivation anymore. Like the monies and the shoots are enough motivation. You like, it's not scary. It's just like, all right, of course I'm doing this now.
Right.
What was that moment? Did you have like a moment where you knew it was going to work, or like were you always pretty just like, hey, it's going to work?
I do. I'm looking over in our house right now because I remember I sat down over there on the steps when I had like multiple agents like text me within a span of like an hour, and I was like, I hadn't really used Spiro's like round robin thing to where I've got to figure out the, you know, okay, how far is this distance? I told my mom, like, I still live with my parents right now, so I told my mom, like, I got to figure out how to drive to all these because I think that was probably the moment, because I was like, man, I got to figure out how I'm going to get to all these shoots, man. This is crazy. I got to put them through Spiro and really figure out the times. That's when it gets real, I feel like, when you're like really packing your days in. So.
Yeah, and once you start getting the clients calling you back too.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That first call, man. Oh.
You said this at the start, but it's like the callback is the thing that makes this business worth it. Because if you had to, man, it would be a terrible business if you could only shoot for every realtor once. Nobody would be making any money. So it's like the power is the callbacks. When you start seeing that, it's pretty cool.
Right. And something else I want to say real fast. Definitely focus on what you're good at with this, as far as client acquisition goes. Like, if you're good at cold calling, just do that. Like, you do not have to do, you should do everything at the same time, but if something is working for you and you're not good at the other thing, or you don't have a great CRM or whatever, just focus on getting clients and just keep calling people. Or if it's Instagram, keep doing Instagram at night at, 2 hours before you go to bed, and then go to bed. I mean, like, focus on what you're good at. Like, people, if you stay, I remember you said this about photography in one of your videos. You were like, if you're trying to do everything, you're an everything photographer, you're not going to succeed. Like, you're going to be a master at nothing, and you're going to be doing everything. But if I'm a real estate photographer, which I'm doing weddings as well, which is a different time frame on the weekends. But if I'm focused on a week during real estate, then I will be successful because I'm only focused on real estate. So.
Yeah, and it's funny that, like you were saying, it applies to, if you zoom into real estate, it applies to that. Like, I think a lot of people have this idea, especially people who have never started a business. You hear all this stuff about what it takes. It's like, oh, you need to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And it's like, that's literally not true. Like, what you said is so good. If you have something that's working, double down on that. It's not about doing 10 different ways to get clients. It's like 1 or 2 and then all in. And I think that also makes it easier too, because then you're not having to like try to get good at, a million different things at once. Rod, Kenny, do you guys have any questions for Mason that you want to get specifically? I kind of thought Rod had one, but I couldn't tell. He always gets close to the mic. Like,
no, I moved it further away.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, the questions I messaged you. You stole my questions, Eli.
I'm sorry. I tried to make it smooth, like they were off the cuff, but that's why I kept having to go like, I got to change the direction slightly here because I had to steal Rod's next question.
You asked them beautifully. I could not have asked them better, so I'm glad you did, because I would have stumbled and fumbled for an hour like usual. But no, I mean that was the big stuff. I wanted to know like how you were conducting the calls. Like kind of meat and potatoes on that side. And my big thought is, on the front lines, we'll get a lot of people that say they'll have general like worries about others in the area, like, is there enough room for me? And then they'll have like worries about if someone's in our coaching program in their area. Someone like Kevin, who's at 100 grand months or whatever in the area. It's like, how can I compete with that? And you saying, I didn't think about that angle, but you saying like, you seeing his agent tree, and you're like, I recognize that one person. So you don't even recognize those people, which is incredible. So it's just enough to go around, because we get a lot of people with that worry specifically, and then you get back there and find out someone's in their area, might maybe immediately deflated, but they shouldn't be, And how has been working like it with people in your area? Is it like the competitor feel? Is it more like a friendly network? From my understanding, it feels like everyone's kind of network. I mean, you guys, and you're lucky. Kevin's a lucky, a lucky one. He's nice to everybody, but how's that like?
Fantastic.
You get along with the ones that do it in your area overall.
Dude,
yeah.
I haven't talked really DM'd many. I've kind of stayed in my lane a little bit. I've talked to Kevin a little bit. I'll call him here and there, but huge shout out to this one guy. I'm going to shout him out because I had to go to Colorado. When we went to Colorado, I had forgotten like the front exterior, and this guy literally got it. Cameron Gamble. I think he went through REPP.
Yeah, he did. He's a nice guy.
Dude, nicest guy I've ever met. He called me. We were talking in the airport. And he's like, yeah, man, just send me the address. Like, shout out Cameron Gamble. Absolute legend. I'm going to meet him in person soon.
That's awesome.
But yeah, everyone that I've met in the area has been fantastic, super friendly, like you said, Rod, and helpful. And I need to meet more of them, honestly.
It's a good, rep or not. It's not even an equation of that. I think it lets a lot of fear out of people if they meet their competitors in the market too. I used to be super scared of this one competitor we had, so bad. And then
it's like they're like some like up here.
Yeah. And they're like the exact same person as you. They're just trying to like make their business,
Yeah. Just a human being. And yeah. Absolutely. And like you said, with Nashville, it's so crazy. There's businesses that are bigger than Kevin's, which is crazy to think about. Not many. I mean, I think I can think of one, but it's just crazy. So
it is. Yeah. Speaking of Kevin, he has a question. If you had to start up in a different market, what would you do to get to 10K as quickly as possible?
Well, I did not get to 10K as quickly as some people, so I'll just say the answer that I think would work the best, which is Mike Nimhoff's way. That dude is a freaking beast. I've only talked to him once in person in Vegas, and I got winded after he away. I was like, okay, all right, sounds good, man.
You did it in the best ways, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, and to answer your question, if you wanted to get to 10K in the first month, Mike literally had shoots. Mike had shoots lined up. I'm pretty sure he said the first day that he got to Knoxville. Mm-hmm. So cold call as many people as possible. Do exactly what Mike did, where you say, "Hey, I am eager for work. Do you have any agents that I can call right now?" And we can get on the phone and say, "Hey." I mean, the stuff he did was crazy, not gonna lie, but I mean, he did $10,000 in his first month of any business is absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's funny.
So that's what I would probably do.
Being winded, that's very true. He has that just constant energy.
He's like, oh, someone's calling me, and it was like one of his bigger agents. He's like, I gotta take it. I'm like, okay.
He's still having a side conversation with you and the agent at the same time.
Seriously.
Mundell on our team said I have a lot of students that worry about basically being too young or too old. Like on the young side, obviously for you, has that ever been a problem for you? Is it even something that enters your mind, or not really?
Oh, of course it's entered my mind. We're all humans. Like, everything that you could possibly. I mean, Eli, you started this young. I'm sure you had the age thing when you started. You were like, oh, will people take me seriously and everything? And I asked Eli about hiring actually in Colorado on the hike about being young and everything. And he's like, basically, the answer to that is if you take yourself seriously, other people are going to take you seriously. And that is no joke. I mean, some people are very surprised at my age. And I'm saying, obviously, I'm not saying that like bragging on myself. I'm just saying like if you really carry yourself well, dress well, and carry yourself in a manner where you're 10 years older than your age, then people are going to take you seriously. And definitely doubt sometimes being young, but that's the beauty of it, I guess, doing it young. So you just gotta get by it and be successful. So
it's funny too, because I think doubt. It's like your body or your brain looks for the easiest way to justify the doubt. And so it's like when you're, at least for me, when it was like when I was young, it was like, oh, I'm young, so therefore I should have doubt. But then it's like there's always something that's creating the doubt. Oh, I'm not from this market, or I don't know anybody here, or I'm not very well spoken. Like you're gonna get, nobody doesn't have doubt. Some people just have an easy reason. Oh, I'm super young, It's like, great. And what? People ask me all the time, you've probably seen this, Mason, but they'll be like, Eli, I'm 16. How do I start my real estate photography business? Like, it has nothing to do with you being 16, dog. Like, it's just how do you start a real estate media business? It doesn't matter if you're 60, 80, or 16. Like, same thing. Maybe if you're under 16, you got to figure out how to have somebody to drive you. But yeah, go for it.
And the people that are 18 are probably going to be better at starting the online business because doing, you know, all the setup and everything than the 40-year-olds. So
yeah, it's like you always get a benefit.
Right. Yeah. How do I make
there's always like, I think what you said is really profound there, actually, Eli. We're always finding that one thing, and there always could be a one thing. If I'm not in my 20s, I'm in my 30s. Can I do it in my 30s? Can I do it in my 40s? Can I do it in my 50s? There's always going to be that question, can I do it? And the answer is, it seems like it's yes. Yes. But then we interview people like Kelvin, right? People like, right, like Mason, right? And we have at this point, we've just seen all sorts of people at this point, all walks, you know, doing this well. So it seems like what you said, Mason, I think is huge. If you take yourself seriously and you treat people right, I mean, it's just, they're going to see that ultimately. And that's what, you know, Eli was what? You were 16 when you started this business. Yeah, literally.
Yeah, and I didn't even have my driver's license. So I would literally make my mom park down the street when she took me to the first few.
It's like, so that way, like embarrassed, like, Mom.
Well, just like that, wait in the car, like outside. You know what I mean? Like, we can't have that.
That's my driver.
Yeah, they would have believed that, I'm sure. As me, the driver charging $60 a shoot. You know what I'm saying?
Funny.
All right, let's find one more question for.
I love Kyle's question. It's like a meat and potatoes question here.
Perfect. That's
Mason, when you're cold calling agents, are you targeting listings with bad photos, or are you reaching out to agents who already have good media and offering them something they might be missing, or is it a little combo of both?
All right, grab a pen and paper because I'm going to tell you exactly. This is exactly how you do it. I'm dead serious too. This is what's worked for me, and it's the best. So what I would do is go on Zillow, and I would look for vacant houses only. There's no reason to go for any houses that are lived in. I might have lost you. Okay, we're back. Vacant listings only. There's no reason to go for houses that they may have moved out. The sellers may have moved out, but go for vacant houses. Nobody's going to say yes if they're still living in it. I think that's pretty obvious, but go for search up their realtor's name. You'll see it on Zillow. I use Zillow, and then search in homes.com for the agent's name. Homes.com. Every single time you can find how many houses they've sold, because Zillow will only tell you how many deals they've had. You don't need buyer deals. You need seller deals. Those are listings. Go to how many houses they've sold. If they've sold 6 or more, ish, or whatever number that you come up with, give them a call. I'm looking for, honestly, let me look at that question again. Where is it at? Okay, it's on the screen. With bad photos, not necessarily. If they have this is what Eli said a while back, and it stuck with me. They could have a terrible photographer that they don't like working with. If you offer that and they say yes, you would have never known that because they had good photos, and you were like, oh, I'm not going to call them because they have good photos. So that's what I would do. Go for vacant houses, homes.com, look for the seller deals, look how many listings they've had. If they're big fish, call them. So,
yeah, you kept it pretty simple. What was the reason for the vacant? Just easier to get yeses on, or what have you found there?
Absolutely. And something other that I add to is something I added towards the end was, hey, I'll do drone photos if you don't want me to go in the house. It's almost like getting an automatic yes. I'll do drone photos. I'll do a drone video if you already have drone photos. I'll just do a video real fast and send it to you in the morning.
You're seizing the gap. He's finding the gap and attacking.
If you create as little friction as possible, then they're more likely to say yes. There's no friction. Whatever.
It gets you off the phone almost. And then by the time they get the photos and stuff, they're like, oh, that was great. And like you tell them about Spiro and the property website, they're like, yeah. So, and what you said about earlier, you kind of said it and you just connected it again. You're looking for, it's like a game to get them to say yes. So they're like, oh, I don't need photos. Like, no worries. You don't have any drone photos. Like, I don't even need to get into the house. I can just swing by, no bother to anybody. Like, is that fine? And they're like, you could almost
That's
get
a beautiful angle, actually.
Yes. Because they have no reason to say no. And at that point, they're like, shoot, it's easier to say yes to get them off the phone.
Absolutely.
Well, absolutely. We talked about this a little bit with cold calling. Like, nobody likes to get the cold call, even if you're selling something they want, because it's just like they're caught off guard a little. But if you just have a little bit more time to warm them up, then they're like, oh, this actually seems like a good thing. So you have to be really okay with not letting them immediately get off the phone. If you can keep them on the phone for like 30 seconds, they're going to change demeanor most of the time.
Right. Right.
And just the skill over time you learn.
Right. Doesn't matter if you're young or.
Oh, where'd it go?
I don't know what's going on. I didn't know if you were reading that or what.
No, I was trying to read it too, and then you read it, and then someone disappeared it on us. Anyway, thanks for your time, Mason. That was great. It was good
Absolutely.
to see you on it, too.
Thank you so
Sorry,
much.
I clicked the button. That was me.
No,
I broke it.
Well, have a good rest of the day, Mason. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I agree with what Kevin said. You can either make excuses or you can make money, but you can't do both. That's wonderful. If you can leave with anything, leave with that. Thank you, Eli.
Thank you, Mason. We'll talk
Thank
soon.
you, man.
See you. That was cool.
That was beautiful.
Here's the wedding business and that too. He just got to work after high school.
7 days a week. It sounds.
Yeah, he was like,
he's ready to work.
Goals. It's completely fine. I do the real estate on the weekdays, the weddings on the weekend. Like it's two different lives.
He's like, no, it's over there. That's awesome.
I was gonna ask him if he regrets not waiting, which is just like a question that's a little bit obvious that he would say, like, yeah, I'm glad I didn't wait. Like he joined coaching and he had just set up Spiro and his Stripe and got ready to go and rock and roll.
Yeah, it's funny because like we used to, I mean, you and I have talked about this plenty, Kenny, but like I used to be so early in my business, so focused on the tactics of like exactly how things were done, because I would trick myself to thinking that was what was holding me back. And then like the more I've gotten to work with people growing their business, the more I've grown mine. It's like I realize how much mindset matters. And everybody that first hears that, they're like, you know, they kind of roll their eyes and it's like fluffy. Everybody knows what they need to do here. You know,
Yeah.
It's like everybody knows what the next step is. But they don't do it because of something they have going on in their brain about why they can't. And it's cool because I think the more we've done these lives and the community we've built here, so shout out to you guys in the audience watching, but like I think everybody's kind of understanding that in our group, which is cool. So it makes the conversations a lot more productive. It's not like as much how specifically do you cold call and more like, you know, what do I got to do to myself? Yeah. All right, let's hit some questions. Drop them in the chat. Oh, Simon had a good one. I actually tried some walk-ins. There were 10 agents just on one street near where I live in London. Question though, should the offer of a free shoot be for the agency or the individual agents? Simon, I mean, I'm a fan of as many people as you can get to take you up on a free shoot, the better. So it depends on how aggressive you want to be. I'd go, if I was just starting my business and wanted to grow fast, I'd give anybody who wanted one a free shoot. If you think about it, like, you know, the business is like a bucket. And there's water being collected in that bucket, and the water's money, right? So every time you get a client, it's like turning on one faucet that drips into that bucket. And then the second client's a second faucet. But then you have 50 clients, that bucket fills up pretty quick, right? And so it's not so much about whether we want to capture that first drop. That's like the free shoot. We're going to give that first drop away because then every other drop's going in that bucket. And so in my opinion, like you can, and it's not that you just have to do free. I'm a big fan of it because of the speed. Like I've just seen enough people do this. It's faster because you get more yeses. If you can get yeses without doing free, awesome. But like it's the faster way to do it. So I want to give everybody that offer. It's like Spotify saying, should we give everybody a free trial? Like, yes, because it works, you know?
That's a beautiful analogy actually with the bucket.
I made it on the spot.
Did you?
The Spotify one was perfect too, though. Actually,
I was like,
I realized the bucket was a little too out there, so I had to bring like Spotify into it. Dave, I do not suggest Google ads. I don't think it's a good use of time, really, or money. It's not the most effective. Google ads are they're search based, obviously. So it's like an agent has to be searching for a real estate photographer. And that's not really how they find real estate photographers. They're going to ask other agents typically.
Or find you on Instagram. So it's like, yeah.
Carlos said, how many free shoots did I do if no one's giving me a second gig? Really good question, Carlos. So it depends on a couple of things. If nobody's giving you a second gig, it could be one, that they didn't like what you offered, or two, it's not been enough time for them to get another listing. So free shoots should like 70+% of the time result in a client paying you in the future. Like, and that's kind of low on the 70. Should be almost everybody becomes a client that takes you up on a free shoot. And so I would do a couple things. One, if you can give me this info now, I can help a little bit more. But if you tell me how many free shoots you've done and how long it's been since you've done those shoots, that would be super helpful. But the other thing that's more, right, so you don't have to rely on like me answering specifically, call the clients you did the free shoots for and ask them for feedback. Like, hey, like, was the shoot good? Is there anything you liked, didn't like? Was the experience good? Like, will I earn your business in the future? Ask those things. Don't leave it to chance. Like, figure it out. is what I would say. Yeah, 3 shoots is
Too much.
kind of low too, Carlos, on the number of shoots, so it's a little hard to say yet. But I would call all 3 shoots and ask them. They may just not have had another listing, but keep it friendly, keep it
Very
up.
well could not have another listing, and
That's why it's fishing. It's hit or miss. Like sometimes you get a free shoot, and then they book 2 shoots a week after that going forward. But get those numbers up for sure. Try to do more. Ooh, here's a good question. What should the main focus be for someone at 30K per month? So it depends on what your team looks like right now. If you're solo, like getting a team as fast as possible. If you have a team already, biggest focus is going to be going back and forth between the bottlenecks. So we use an acronym that spells COST, like COST, stands for clients, owners, systems, and team. One of those 4 areas is going to be holding your business back more than the other one. And so your job is to be like, what is that area? And fix that, full pressure, so to speak. You good, Rod? Rod was over there.
Anyway. Could y'all see that? I didn't think y'all see me frantically messaging.
Get some acorns off the floor and just back at it. Anyway, so clients, owner, systems, team, and diagnosing that bottleneck. So right now, if you wouldn't take on, like, if 20 clients called and were like, I need to shoot, and you're like, no, I can't handle it, you need to build your team or your systems more. If you would love 25 more clients right now, like, you need to do client acquisition. So the big thing, though, is zooming out from your business and sort of engineering your business, like being an owner working on your business, not like the operator working in it. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to say without knowing the specifics, but one of those 4 categories will be holding the business back more than the other ones. Yeah, good thoughts from Kevin here on the asking for referrals. Be eager, that's the biggest thing. Feedback, asking for feedback shows that you're eager. Asking for referrals shows that you're eager, that kind of stuff.
Do we answer? Oh, go ahead.
Which one do you want me to get?
Victor's.
I will grab that. I may not see it on mine. You may. Oh, no, I see it up there. I'll grab that in just a second, Victor. What's involved in a free shoot? Do I offer anything they want for the first shoot or just photos? There's no, like, definitive strategy, Joe. It's more of like a scale from, less aggressive to more aggressive. So if you're willing to do everything, the more you do, the higher your average order value is going to be for that client in the future, typically. And it's a good way to just really wow them. But you could also, modulate that a little bit depending on the client. So if you look them up and they only do 2 shoots a year, just give them free base photos. If they do 40 shoots a year, maybe, give them everything. But there's no, like, hard and fast. Generally, the more is better, though. Victor said, the small town I live in has a lot of boutique brokerages that tend to not want to use expensive media or video based on what their agents in the area have said. How do I change that? Yeah, so, okay, small town, there's advantages and disadvantages. You have a huge advantage in this question, though, which is they will start to – you can change the market in a smaller town way more easily. I can say this from experience. Like, we did that in Granbury where we first started. So many people have done this. All you need is a couple agents to start taking you up on that, and the other ones don't want to be left behind. So find the agents that you like working with and that are kind of media forward. And even if you have to, give them free stuff, give them video, give them Twilight photos, like, get those out there on their listings and in their social media. Because then all of a sudden other agents are like, maybe I should do that. And the key there is to find, like, kind of a top producer. You don't want to do this with, like, a brand new agent because they don't have a lot of listings and a lot of people don't look up to them yet. So yeah, you can change the market though. And when you do, in Granbury where we were, it was like the funniest thing. We had this one agent named Zeke, awesome guy. And he would always try to outdo the other agents. So he would add on, like, 3D tours, and then, like, the whole market would start doing 3D tours. And then he was like, well, now I got to do photos and videos or 3D. Then he'd add video and Twilights and all this stuff. And it was like, our average order value was like in that market. That doesn't really happen in big cities because there's just so many agents. So just kind of an interesting, like, small town advantage that you have there. Let's see. Pick a question, Mr. Rod or Mr. Kenny. Someone pick one.
This one's a quick one.
Let's see.
Great question, Annette.
Eli, you say not to use website, and Spiro has a landing page. Do you suggest using them? Yeah, Annette. So I just don't think it's worth it to build, like, a regular website. Spiro will serve the purpose that you need, to be served with what they have. Spiro plus your Instagram account. So yeah, definitely use Spiro. Don't build a website. It's just a waste of time, in my opinion. Let's see.
Here's a good one. Should my Instagram posts only be real estate or personal stuff too?
Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to talk to Mason about this too, but I think we've mentioned it a lot on the lives. But it's just like when agents want to work with you, and especially in the beginning, they want to work with you, not the company. And so it'd be great if they were able to see that you're a real person. So yeah, we typically recommend that you mix it up. So maybe like every other post, it's a post of you doing something related to real estate media. So maybe you with a camera shooting, introducing yourself, just so they can know that you're a real person and that they're going to be working with you, and not just a random company, big company. And yeah, so I would mix it up.
Yeah, and it's like you kind of said this, but it's not like a direct personal post.
Yeah,
like it's not, oh, here's I love cooking, here's a burger I made. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't really fit I mean, you could probably pull it off, but like it doesn't really fit the vibe as much. Yeah, Victor, welcome in. I was excited when I saw your name. I guess it's been 1 day or 2 days now. Pretty recently, right?
It was yesterday, right?
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, I saw you
been 2 days
here in the lives a lot, Victor. So we're glad to have you inside.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Caleb said, "Oh, let's do some wins real quick." Caleb said,
Yeah.
"To double last year's revenue." Post your wins in the chat.
All right, while they're posting the wins, let me pick another one here for you. I saw from Nick.
Sorry, Rod. I had to do that.
I was like, that wasn't me.
I was like, this definitely Kitty.
I was like, that wasn't me.
It was so good when it first went away. All right, sorry, Nick. Nick said, my photographer started shooting on his own the beginning of last month. He's doing really well, but he's still a bit slow. Yeah, and he helps on helping him get faster. I mean, I'm glad he's doing well. That's good. Slow. I'd rather than be slow and do it well than fast and sloppy. Yeah, so it depends on what you think is making him slow. Biggest thing would be setting a timer. It sounds silly, but just challenging him to try to get done in 45 minutes. If he knows that he can drag it out, it's just, there's not as much pressure there. So especially he's been shooting for a month now. He's not at the point where it's going to be too difficult for him to do that. So it's really telling him what your goals are. Hey, I'd love to see you at about an hour for these type of shoots. I want you to start, playing a game with yourself. Set a timer. Don't let the agent see, but it's okay if you go over, but just so you can keep track. That will help. That will kind of help stuff flow downstream too. Like maybe he's overshooting because he's worried about missing angles. Like I would start with the conversation with him. All right, you're trained, you're doing good. Next step is to get it faster. So what do you think's slowing you down? What can I help with? Any tips I can give you? Stuff like that. But also just let time go by, Nick. A month in is still pretty fresh.
Yeah, Jared typically says around the third month is when you start seeing the photographers be quicker. Also, I would say I would look at the way that you do things that you've taught them, just in case they're doing something that they're not supposed to, and that's slowing them down. So just look into your processes too.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because sometimes they add stuff or have just ways of doing things that doesn't make sense. Nate said this month marks 5 years since we joined REPP. What a ride it has been, sir.
Oh,
that makes it sound like it's been up and down. It's been up. You know what I'm saying? 37K. Nice, Sharon. That's crazy. How long have you guys been since you were first involved with REPP, Sharon? It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Dave said just started 8 to 10K a month. Michael said, had my first shoot yesterday and delivered photos this morning. I don't know why I waited so long. I made Everest over the photography. Ready for number 2. Congrats on the first one. I did 7 luxury townhomes in a day. Were they all side by side? That's crazy. We did this one shoot one time, me and Aaron, and so many shoots blend together, but you'll have these ones that just you remember. And I vividly, so it was a brand new construction neighborhood, and there was 7 houses in a row or 9 or something like that. And they were all in one street. And so I was answering client calls in the car, and me and Aaron were going to shoot these. So I told him, I was like, can you go turn on all the lights? So I was on calls and I'd watch him come out of the first house and literally run to the next house, vacant houses, new construction, go into the next one, turn on all the lights. And it was the funniest thing. Anyway, Victor said today was his first day in coaching. So glad to have you in here, Victor. I just had a brokerage ask me if I can handle the photos for all their listings, and I'm getting married this month. Nice. 2 wins. What else you guys got? 5 years ago.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
There's a question from Simon. It's actually a good question. Where'd it go? Oh man. Basically it was like, what are your thoughts on email marketing? Oh, there it is. Found it.
I don't like it.
What are your thoughts on emailing prospects and email marketing in general? I guess it depends how it's used.
Yeah. Some people use it well. It's just, I mean,
you talk a lot about it, Eli. Like, there's a lot of ways to do client acquisition. It's just like, what's the best use of your time? And so I don't think email, I mean, it could work, but like, might as well just stick with what's working. So like what Mason was doing, cold calling or Instagram method. Email marketing, I mean, I'm just trying to think of it as my own personal perspective. Like, I would ignore it. I'd be like, okay. Like,
unless you're a really good email marketer, it's tough.
And the other thing is, like, just looking at the data, like, plenty of people have tried email marketing. You haven't heard someone on the live come in here and be like, email marketing was what really did it. Like,
very true.
People do occasionally. It's just the data's not working in your favor with that. So
there's a lot of compliance stuff too. I mean, there's less compliance stuff with calling. There's less compliance stuff with Instagram messaging. There's less compliance with showing up in person. But when you get into emailing, and then I've seen some people in our group say, no, I text people, cold text. I'm like, that's not legal. That's these days not a good idea. So it's like, I don't think a lot of times we're thinking about, oh, there's the compliance side. You know, a lot of these are just what's the most compliant angle too. You know, so it's a lot going on there. But
Craig said I run a business in Texarkana, Texas, about 3 hours east of y'all, and I just hit 14,000 in May.
Yeah, very nice.
Congrats. That's awesome.
It's more wins than questions. I'll take it.
Yeah. Brad on it said, one thing I've done with my new photographer is let her see me do a few shoots full speed and explain everything so they can see it can be done in a certain amount of time.
You're like, watch this. Brad goes, hey, watch this, and just shows off how fast he is.
I'm over here building the power business. It's literally an animal over there, growing fast, hiring his first team member. It's cool. When averaging across your client base, is one shoot per agent per month a realistic benchmark outside of slow season? I think it doesn't, that kind of averaging is less helpful than the revenue per month per client. So generally, Owen, we see $100 to $200 per month per client, whether they book with us or not. That's the metric we look at more. Usually people are around like 100, 125 at the lowest. So I would calculate that way. You can look at the number for your business specifically. You just got to do some like math, dividing the number of clients you have with the amount of revenue you made. It's hard when you're growing really fast because you can't just like take the full last year because you had like an eighth the amount of clients then, you know. Nick said I sent probably 150 cold emails before I joined REPP. I think got maybe 2 or 3 shoots out of it. Nick, that's better than most. At least
I'm about to say, hold on.
At least you got some shoots. Well, anyway, thanks everybody for being here today. If you missed Mason at the start, go watch it. Great guy, built a good business, and coming from a different side of photography, which is cool. I always thought like when we started teaching people, we'd get more people from other like genres of photography. We do. It's like half, but I thought it would be like 90%. We just get a lot of people straight into the business in general. So anyway, it was a good one with Mason. And if you're new here, biggest thing I can say is just watch a lot of my YouTube videos. Like, it doesn't serve you being on the fence about starting this business. And so the fastest way to, figure out if you want to be in this business or not is just learn more about it. Watch my videos. And for anybody that's been in here for a little bit, if you haven't jumped into at least talking with us about coaching, I think, it'd be a really good idea. Obviously I'm biased a little bit, but, I've said this before, and it's like a core thing. They say a lot of entrepreneurs start businesses to solve problems they had. And Norman and Young, didn't solve a problem I had. I mean, I needed money, so it solved that problem. But coaching is the business that I wish would have been around when I first started. And so just love to invite you to, apply and talk with our team about it. And if you have any specific thoughts, just go for it, Mr. Rod. Anything you want to add in?
Oh, if it's about coaching, y'all got 20 minutes? but no, there's 2 schools of thought here. Like if y'all haven't talked to us about it yet, that link we put in there, the apply link, will take you in to talk with our team. And or you could scan here. Oh, I have to go through his neck. Oh, this is violent.
This weird thing happens where you're actually pointing. I'm pretty sure. You guys are.
Oh wait, it's probably not right.
Is it this way?
Yeah, it should be.
It's your way, Kenny, but I don't know which way it actually is.
Oh no, well we're probably all wrong. But that barcode will actually do it too. If you haven't talked to us yet about it, book in, talk to the team.
Name everyone.
Our goal. Don't do it now.
Don't do it.
Take Lions Main today. But ultimately, if you haven't chatted with us yet, our goal is to literally discover this and give you an idea of how this business would look and just give you a lot of clarity around that. And then if coaching makes sense, great, hop in. If not, then our team is there to support regardless. We're not trying to be known for the one that just, if someone doesn't buy something we don't like our goal is to support as much as possible in whatever that looks like. And if you have chatted with our team already and you're like, not able to do it at the time or whichever, like reach back out to them, text them, said Rod from the Live said I would need to reach out and say, how can I get creative? How can I make this work? They're very smart too as well. They're like very creative too, to figure out ways for it to be comfortable, for you to get in, for you to get the results, right? So whether you've talked to them already and you want to reach back out to them, shoot them a text. You're like, Rod told me to, just spam them, right? Or if you haven't booked or if you haven't chatted with us yet, use the apply link and hop in. Just see what this could look like. If it looks great, great. If not, you at least know what it could look like when the time comes. All right. So if you want to do that, you'll see the I'll spam it in the chat again, the apply link there, if y'all want to use that too. And then also we also have, right. Should we bring up done for you hiring? Should we bring up that whole thing we're doing now?
I said, what do we also have? When you said that, I was like, we have something.
Oh, wait, there's more.
I'll quickly talk about it. And then, so we, if you're an established real estate media business and you're hiring and you're growing your team, one of the things that we found people really struggle with is just making good quality hires. And it's not because you can't do it. Just a lot of people are busy, especially when they need to hire. And so we have a division of our company now called REPP Talent, where we hire photographers, VAs, admins, salespeople for you. So we go through the entire recruiting process. We post the job listing, we screen the candidates. We have like a pretty advanced, I could say advanced, but it kind of sounds like a marketing word. Like we have a thorough vetting process where we score candidates, rank them, interview them. We do all that for you. And we give you a brief that has 3 final candidates that you pick from. And so if you want help from that, you can, replaunch.com/apply will work. But if you also go to replaunch.com/reptalent, that'd be either way will get you to the right team person. So just book in if you want to talk about that. And I appreciate everybody being here today. Go watch Masons if you missed the first part, and we'll see you here in the near future. Go grab your
Bye, everybody.
See ya.